This is the BWF Wrestling Podcast. With your host and the leader of the BWF Nation, the King, Susan's Little Babu, the undisputed BWF Champion, Ken Patera!
BWF Nation, this week on the BWF Wrestling Podcast, we deep dive and dissect WrestleMania 11. We share some really funny wrestler meet and greet stories, and we honor the career of the icon Sting. But first, we have a major announcement, perhaps the biggest announcement that we've ever had on the show. And to share that announcement with you, let's throw it over to our co-host, G. Patrick Condon. Patrick, let's share the news, my friend.
Hey, Bish, thanks for throwing to me there. Yeah, it's now before we get into this, you're going to want to like, you're going to want to subscribe, you're going to want to turn on the notifications, because we are leveling up, as they say. What started off as a little trip down to WrestleMania has now become the place where legends will gather, as we will be hosting the only signing, I believe, during WrestleMania weekend of wrestling legend, one of my heroes, one of the greatest promos and storied careers, and someday we're going to have to, maybe we can even do it before we go down there, but we are talking about Ken Patera. Strongman Ken Patera. Amazing stuff.
Absolutely amazing. Absolutely amazing. And this guy, he's a former Olympian. He's a former medalist in the Olympics. He's a gold medalist in the Pan American Games. He's the second ever Intercontinental Champion. The man has faced Andre the Giant over 600 times. He's in the St. Louis Wrestling Hall of Fame. The man has done it all. Literally has done it all, seen it all in the wrestling profession, and we are very lucky and honored to have him not only as a guest at WrestleCon, but we'll have him on the show at some point as a guest on the podcast. So thank you very much, Ken Patera, for accepting our invitation, and can't wait to see you, can't wait to meet you, can't wait to talk to you. It's going to be awesome.
So Ken Patera, for real, is of living wrestlers' top 5 people I want to talk to. If you've ever seen Ken Patera do shoot interviews, he is a no bullshit type of guy, and he's hilarious, and he's got a lot of things on his mind. 80 years old, and he still has a lot of stuff that he wants to say and a lot of stories he wants to tell. So a little behind the scenes, Aaron, of course, knows that Ken Patera is one of my boys. And it's a side note, I think the other 4 on my list are very achievable as well, now that we got Ken Patera. I mean, all bets are off, really. But so Aaron hooked me up with his phone number with the idea that I would be calling Ken to arrange when Mr. Patera, when we would arrange to have him come on the podcast before WrestleMania to promote, which will be happening next week. But I didn't call him. No, I handed it over to my friend Steve Oates, who has been on this podcast one way or another in the past. Let's see if...
Hey fans, all the ashes in this room are from podcasts long gone.
Anybody that's been watching the podcast or listening from day one, there was a period of time where we were getting viewer voicemails, and Oates was the guy that was sending him in. Anyways, now Steve is the real fan of Ken Patera. Before we even knew each other, Steve was quoting Ken Patera. He's an actor. He put him in his bios. And now Steve is acting on this movie that I'm producing now. And so I got Steve to call him up. And Steve, I mean, it was a dream come true for him. He has thanked me profusely. And he said that Ken, at 80 years old, a good half hour, no problem. Steve didn't even have to really cue him up for much. And he wasn't interviewing him, but Steve had his questions, and Andre the Giant was one. Another question he asked Ken Patera, because Ken does say that he wrestled Andre the Giant over 600 times.
Yep.
number 2, do you have any guesses as to who number 2 on Ken Patera's list is?
Probably Hogan.
Very good. Very good. Yes.
I've been doing my research, man. I can't wait for this is going to be good stuff. I can't wait for Ken Patera.
I would say my guess was Tony Atlas, who is also in my top 5 to interview. My God, if we ever talk to Tony Atlas too, and that's mostly what I want to talk to Ken about. That's one of my favorite feuds of all time. Love the stuff that they were doing weekly on television, and Ken is, I mean, he's just awesome. 80 years old, spry, quick-witted, ready to talk, loves to talk, doesn't know much about technology, but he's happy to learn, and a friendly guy. I mean, dare I say that we have become a little more professional since we last saw each other on this podcast.
I think so too. And with that, my friend, we're blocked. We're all set for WrestleCon. We have 6 different guests over 3 different days joining us at WrestleCon, man. It's going to be off the charts. I said, I don't even know what to expect now. Like, I know it's going to be one of the best times, maybe even if the best time of our entire lives. This week, I mean, now I'm a married man. I'm saying that as a married man. This is going to be the best week of our entire lives.
Yeah, I'm sure your lovely wife Susan understands where you're coming from.
She does.
With this.
She does. Weddings are stressful.
In all this, as well as we get prepared with ideas of how to present ourselves as professionally as possible. And speaking of which, orders have been put in for our merchandise. We pivoted. You know, Aaron's been talking for weeks about giving away that damn belt of his. It's not happening. I'm taking that belt. So no more belt, but we will have a lot of stuff on the go. We got to figure out a way to parlay all of this into getting monetized, which is the goal. And I should do up a thing for this. The march to 5,000 hours or something like that.
The march to getting paid or something. Yeah, it's a great idea.
Yeah, because that's what it's all about, baby, for us here. We want to come out of WrestleMania weekend monetized.
We can do it. We can absolutely do it. Yeah. Big things are in store, man. Big things are in store. And, you know, all this talk about wrestling and WrestleCon has got me, as I mentioned in the mood, as I said in the intro, in the mood to talk about some interesting wrestler meet and greets that we've had over the years. I know that I mentioned previously a few episodes ago about my interaction with Chris Jericho, how the guy right in front of me asked Jericho if he could autograph a bottle of hand lotion, which Jericho was completely irked, freaked out, grossed out about. But he did anyway. He's like, I'm not even going to ask. And then, of course, I went up to talk to Jericho, and he was just kind of brain fucked about what just happened. So he wasn't really in the best of moods talking to me. But I just want to know, did you ever have a funny meet and greet story?
I don't think I've ever met a wrestler. I don't think.
Oh, Jesus.
On that, I'm trying to think off the top of my head. I don't think I've ever done any of that. Not a mark, you know? Anyways.
Wow. Okay. So you're really going to be blown away at WrestleCon then. Holy shit.
Well, yes, I am, for sure. I'm going to let you take the lead. I mean, I'll admit I was probably too nervous to get in touch with Ken Patera, because he also can be set off by anything. There's an infamous shoot interview that he did where maybe he had a couple of wobbly pops too many and he lost it at people. And even recently he was in Tales of the Territories, and he can be, he's not holding back. You know, he's Ken Patera. What does he got to hide? Who does he got to be polite for? So I was a little nervous about that. I will be nervous. I find that in the past, when it comes to talking even to other wrestling fans, that I don't really speak their language. So you're going to be the leader on this, and I'm going to hopefully be able to wait until we are recording and Ken has done his interviews before I ask him something that will cause him to call me an idiot or something like that, which I imagine will happen at some point. But So no. I guess then by default, Andrew Anderson is probably the biggest wrestler I've ever spoken to.
Okay, all right. Well, in that's the case, I'm going to take the lead here. Okay.
Yes, please,
Hey, man,
please do.
Yeah. Anderson, great guy. So one of my favorite stories of mine is, I don't even know if I ever told you any of these stories, to tell you the truth. So this is going to be interesting. Me and my buddy John King, we were in Los Angeles for SummerSlam 2014. We were at a bar in Hollywood at some pub somewhere. And John's sitting at the other end of the table. I get us a couple beers. I'm buying the first round. So I go sit down at the table, give him his beer. And he's just like, I'm like, what's wrong with you? Like, hello. And he's like pointing right next to me. So anyway, I turn around, literally sitting right next to me is Big E. Okay. And he's not with any other wrestlers. He's actually just with some actual personal friends, and they're talking and I'm just waiting, right? I'm waiting in the wings for just a pause in their conversation just so I can jump in. And these guys are talking forever. And finally, there's like, I don't know, a half a second of a pause. And I'm like, can I please buy you a beer?
That's
Totally
nice.
like,
That's nice.
right?
So did you yell it at him like that? For real?
Literally, I was like, can I please buy you a beer? And he looked at me and went, no. And then he went and started talking to his friends again. But to be fair to Big E, he was actually really nice afterwards. After he finished his conversation, he looked at me. He's like, sorry about that, man. I just haven't spent much time with my friends lately. I don't get to see them very often. They live here in LA. And, you know, it's like, thank you for the offer for the drink, but I don't let fans buy me drinks. It's just something I don't do, but I really do appreciate the offer. And then we actually had a good 15 to 20 minute conversation, me, him, and my buddy John, just shooting shit. I asked him about the New Day when they were first formed. They were supposed to be the new Nation of Domination. I asked him about that. He's like, yeah, that was the original plan, but it was going to be too racist. So we decided to go this New Day route, and the rest is history. Just a great guy. Cool conversation. Awesome experience.
Nice.
Yeah.
How could you sit next to Big E and not notice him? He looks like he's big, thick.
I know, but I mean, like when you're in a bar in Hollywood and everybody's just like shoulder to shoulder, and it's just, you know, you don't really notice the thing. I was literally at the bar. I just got the beer. I just turned around and I just sat down, and I just didn't, you know, I just didn't look at the guy next to me. I don't know, just.
Okay, fair enough. I mean, I don't know. He seems like he's a abnormally large man, thick guy.
He is, but you know, to be fair, it probably took me 30 seconds to realize that it was actually him. You know, but yeah, yeah, it was cool. It was cool.
Okay, that's good. That's pretty good. That's your WrestleMania one. What else do you got?
That's my SummerSlam one. But yeah, I got a few more.
SummerSlam in Los Angeles. What one was that?
2014.
Ah, so you've been to a couple of Los Angeles pay-per-views. Well, I guess Anaheim. What is the WrestleMania 31 was where? In Anaheim?
San Jose.
San Jose, yes.
San Francisco, San Jose. They're in the same area. But, yeah. So, the next one. Who do I got next? Ooh, let's go with WrestleMania 30 down in Chicago. Me, again, John King, and another buddy of ours, we were doing a sports trip. We were doing a few baseball games, doing a hockey game here and there, on the way down to California. So we decided to stop in Chicago. We went Toronto, Chicago, California. We actually saw you in Toronto on that trip. But in our stay at Chicago, saw a Cubbies game, and we decided to go down to Victoria's restaurant, the Squared Circle. That evening, her and Jillian Hall were there. They're, you know, just having some sort of fan stuff going on during WrestleMania. But when we got there, the place was booked solid. There was no room. So us, me and John, and like probably 10 other wrestling fans were literally outside of Victoria's restaurant watching WrestleMania 30 through the windows. Me and John decided to go across the street, buy everybody some beer, get some plastic cups. So we're all outside, man. We're all drinking, having a good laugh. And then all of a sudden the Taker thing comes on. 1, 2, 3, Taker streak is over. I just remember everybody outside just stopped what they're doing. We were all having a great conversation carrying on. It just stopped. Complete silence. Everybody was like, I remember my hands were like this, like, what the fuck? And then once everybody comprehended what they just saw and what just happened, everybody at the same time just going, what the fuck? What the fuck? What was that? What was that? No. I just remember going, no, just over and over again. Yeah. So anyway, for the replay, we actually get to go inside. We meet Victoria. We meet Jillian Hall. Great experience. My buddy has a beer in his hand.
I just want to say that this Undertaker thing, everybody remembers where they were. It's kind of like 9/11 of, I know I keep on bringing up 9/11 on this show, but it really does factor into everything. Taker losing at Mania 30 is kind of the 9/11 of the WWE.
WWE, honestly, yeah, it really is.
Some people think it was a good idea. A lot more people don't think so.
Speaking of tumbling down, my friend had a beer in his hand and he was going to the bathroom. And what he thought was the bathroom was not the bathroom. He literally just went right through the door and he literally fell down a flight of steps in Victoria's restaurant. And I just remember Victoria and Jillian Hall both went, holy shit. And they ran to the door. I'm running to the door like, John. I figured he had his neck broke. And we just look at John. He's literally on the ground, like leg out, but he's got his one hand up with his beer. And he's like, not a drop was spilled. He protected the beer.
I believe I've heard that one, yes. Now, is that the embarrassing WrestleMania story that you...
No.
Well, I mean, as we banter here, I'm curious, what is this embarrassing WrestleMania story you have, Aaron?
I'll get to that one in a second. What do
you mean? Come on, I'm queuing you up. That's the end of the John. Where is John King now, anyways?
He's in Newfoundland.
Okay.
And still in St. John's, yeah. He bought a house. He is living with his longtime girlfriend from Telelink. She had Telelink back in the day. Yeah, he's doing great. But
yeah, sorry. Nevertheless, why isn't he going to WrestleMania 40? We're bringing more people now. That's right. That's another announcement we have made. Hold on a second. Along with Ken Patera appearing, maybe not with us, but he's going to be around, Christopher Barney Barnes is also appearing.
Yes, so he says. He hasn't bought his plane tickets yet, but so he says.
Okay. I mean, my experience has been when Chris Barnes says he's going to show up somewhere, he shows up.
Exactly. He does. He's a man of his word. No pressure, Chris. But yeah, no, I digress. I do have a really good, funny Jake the Snake story.
I believe I digressed there, sorry, and I'm continuing to digress. Anyways, go on.
Let's get into this really embarrassing WrestleMania story, shall we? Fuck it.
Yeah.
Fuck it. Why not? There's only two people on the planet that know this story, and that's me and John King.
Okay. Now, is this nobody else? What WrestleMania are we talking about here?
This is WrestleMania 31, the one down in California. So we're at our hotel room for WrestleCon, the same hotel as WrestleCon in San Jose. And this is Sunday morning, the morning of WrestleMania. It's been a full week of just being on the go and just being happy, So so this is so fucked. I can't believe I'm saying this on air.
I remember a while ago when I don't even know if it was on the show or in a text. I was talking about how we're going to be staying in the same hotel room, and you said that you had a story to tell that maybe it's not going to be as good as I thought it was, or it's not. It's something I should know. Is this it?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Please go on.
So, we have a great week at WrestleCon. We're having a great time. Did the Hall of Fame. Everybody's happy. We're meeting wrestlers. It's emotions are at a full-time high. So Sunday morning, WrestleMania, I wake up and I fucking jizzed myself.
You mean that's not what I thought was going on there? I thought it was going to be a fart or a poop story here. Please, Aaron, bring us step by step to this. Did you mean nocturnal emissions?
This is so funny. I had no idea, right? So I wake up. John's like, "Get up, man! WrestleMania morning." I'm like, "Yes, sir." I fucking whip off the sheets, and I realized, and he realized first, and he went, "Jesus, fuck, Bishop." And I went, "What?" He's like, "Look, I'm saturated from tits to taint." Just coated.
And so you don't remember how it happened, or
It must happen in my sleep. Just had a fucking wet dream that morning at WrestleMania 31 in front of my buddy in the hotel room.
Okay. Good to know. Thanks for the heads up. That's quite the story. How did you guys get past that?
It's only been mentioned maybe once or twice since. We've kind of just thank goodness for him. He's been a good friend. He could have told everybody about this. He could have made fun of me for years about this. I probably would have done the same to someone else if it happened to someone else. But he's been good about it. He hasn't really mentioned it. He's a good man. He just pretend like it didn't happen.
Why he's not coming to WrestleMania this year?
It's probably why he's not coming to WrestleMania this year. Yeah, exactly. Oh, you know what it was. You know what it was. It was probably because Jake the Snake grabbed my fucking junk the day before. So there we go. I'm just getting released.
Yeah. Yeah, that's too bad. You must have had a lot of guilt connected with those feelings to be sexually assaulted and then to, still orgasm while you're asleep. And it's very disturbing when you put it like that, Aaron. Very disturbing.
Yeah, so those who don't know, Jake the Snake, he was in lineup and he was with his a lot
of sexual stuff connected with you in wrestling, but I'm pretty sure we've talked about this on the show, but nevertheless, please.
His assistant is helping him, and Jake, he keeps poking and pinching and fucking around with this guy's taint. He's like, "Please, Mr. Robert, stop poking my taint." I'll never get that song. Just begging Jake to stop it. And so when I go up to Jake, I kneel down, right? I get down and I'm like, "This is so you can't do to me what you're doing to him." And Jake's like, "Oh, yeah." And he grabs my crotch, my junk, just as soon as the picture is being taken. So the picture of me and Jake of us smiling, his hand is actually on my crotch at that moment. It's so good. God bless Jake.
Jake has some really raunchy stories about him in the past too, which it doesn't make that story that much shocking. Jake is not one of my top 5 people I want to talk to. I think Jake has been stealing our content ideas, actually.
Oh, he has been since the start. 100%. We influence what they do every week, it seems.
Every week, Jake, you'll never come on this show. You might come on your handlers. You might come on your fans that pay money to get a picture taken with you, but you'll never come on the BWF podcast. Any other stories? I think that's pretty much, we probably should call it on that one.
Yeah, I think we should just call it there. That's a good way to end it.
All right. Moving on to the news. Aaron, what do we got going on this week in the wonderful world of wrestling?
Excuse me. Well, this week, my friend, is a good week, news-wise, as nobody has been murdered, raped, died, shit on, or fallen from grace due to homophobia or racism yet. Speaking of which, if you want to know which Hall of Famers could be in hot water up shit creek without a paddle, just donate any amount of money to our Ko-fi account, link here at the bottom of the screen, and you'll be automatically signed up for Inside Wrestling with the Bish. Message me, and I will tell you just what is going on. That, plus a whole lot more. inside the wrestling world that we cannot for free out loud.
You up your own kind of Mean Gene service here, are you? Good. I wasn't aware of this, but it's a good avenue to get some revenue.
Absolutely. But this week in the news, we are going to reminisce and go over and honor the career of the icon Sting. The boys over at the Retro Revival podcast, they put together a really good video montage with before the career of Sting. My favorite Sting memories, personally, I have to go back to, I think, the Wolfpack is when he joined the Wolfpack. That's one of my favorite memories. I remember where I was when that happened. I was at my friend's house across the street in Grand Falls, Windsor, and watching Nitro and seeing Sting take the shirt from Lex Luger and put that on and see the fans go nuts. That was awesome. Also, I was at WrestleMania 31, as we mentioned. And it was a great match, him and Triple H. My favorite match to see live.
Up and down that lonely road.
The song they're playing on this is the Lonely Road thing that WWF did for their Legend stuff. So, yeah. So would you consider yourself a little Stinger?
Oh yeah, absolutely. One of the very first action figures I ever had. Besides those big rubber ones, the smaller ones. Sting was my very first small wrestling action figure. I still have it to this very day. I always loved Sting. I loved Surfer Sting. I loved NWO Sting, Crow Sting. I loved them all. I love all versions of Sting.
I was never a big fan of Sting. I actually think that the two Stings that I like, well, actually, okay, I guess everybody's a little bit of a Stinger underneath it all. But I do know that Sting I never knew anything about WCW or NWA. Wrestling was WWF, and you wouldn't even call it wrestling, you just call it WWF. But I knew that there was this guy with the makeup and the bleached blonde hair that didn't wrestle for them, and it was Sting, obviously, and it was Sid Justice. No, it was Sting, so that was good. I liked the story, learning more about him. The Crow stuff obviously really breathed new life into him, that allowed him to stay with WCW in the late 90s in a way that Surfer Sting would not have been able to cut it, I don't think. And he had a real good deal while he was doing that. I mean, he didn't wrestle for a year. He just would stand up and look sullen and sad in the rafters. And then, I hate to disagree with you, Bish, but I didn't like the Wolfpack Sting. It didn't make any sense after he was doing so much. He was WCW, and any kind of iteration of NWO went against everything that Sting was hanging out in those rafters for, you know?
I agree, but it's still a cool moment. I don't know. I marked out, man. At the time, it was Kevin Nash. You had Macho Man, and now you're going to have Sting join. I mean, that's just awesome. So logic or not, whatever. It's still cool.
Logic be damned. And then I loved that he was the holdout for so long, for going to WWF as long as he really could possibly do, which it's never really been explained, like why he was so adamant when literally everybody else that was offered the chance to go went. And he didn't. Do you have some idea about that?
He said that it's because he, excuse me. He said it's because he thought that Vince wouldn't know what to do with the Sting character and that he would just become a normal job boy for all the big names like Austin and Taker and all that. So he didn't want to do it.
Fair enough. I mean, it's
Turns
something like
right.
that seems like it would be like a grudge sort of thing. Like the Fed had screwed him over at some point. Like, I mean, it's something that like Brett, you would imagine Brett would never go back, but even Brett went back. And then, so I do like Joker's thing. I missed out on that at the time, But going back, I thought that it gave his character a whole lot of charisma that he never really needed to have when he was Crow Sting. So I thought that was cool. The WWF run is what it is. That was a fun match, obviously. And now his AEW stuff, I thought that they did him real well, even up and including the match that he retired with, getting his kids out. To do the couple of different eras of Sting, I thought was a genius idea. And I mean, the kid that dressed up as Surfer Sting was spitting image. It was amazing.
So good. Hard not to tear up or at least get a little bit emotional when watching that. I mean, yeah, when his kids were all doing the stinger splashes in the corner, it's just like, holy shit, man, it just gives you goosebumps. And just getting goosebumps right now, man. Getting those chills. Fuck, it's just, I don't know, end of an era. It truly is end of an era, man. Like, it's, thank you, Sting. Yeah, just can't say any better. Thank you, Stinger.
Thank you, Sting. Do you think he will actually never wrestle again? Do you think?
The only chance, as I said, I think maybe last week, the only chance in hell he'll ever wrestle again, in my personal opinion, is if they do a cinematic match in the WWF against Undertaker. That's it. There's no other match to be had. What do you think?
Fair.
Yeah.
And so what did you think of the final match? Just to sort of touch on AEW again, he didn't lose the entire time he was there, but he never felt like he was taking anybody's spot. Never felt like he was overshadowing anybody. Everybody that was working with him, from CM Punk to Darby Allin, of course, coming out with the makeup on, seemed to be really grateful to be hanging out with him and to share the ring with him.
Do you have that Darby Allin stunt video there when he goes through the glass by any chance? But no, you're absolutely right. Sting, he really elevated the career of Darby Allin. I had no idea who this kid was before Sting came along. And now Darby is a mainstream or a name. He's a made name in wrestling now. This stunt we're about to see is fucking crazy. There's no need of it, really. But what do you think of this stuff? I loved the match. I loved everything they did. I don't think this was necessary. And I don't even think it was that cool of a stunt. I don't know. I might be in the wrong here. I might be in the minority, but I did not like this one bit. What say you? Pat? Pat?
My mic was off there. Were you hearing me anyways?
No.
Okay. Sorry. So yeah, I don't know how long my mic was off there. Did you? Okay. So I didn't like the match. I didn't like the spot because it was a move where his intent was to go through that glass. There was no jeopardy of anybody else being hurt. It was a stunt, and it psychologically didn't make that much sense.
It didn't make any sense whatsoever. No, you're right. When you're doing something like this, your intent should be to hurt your opponent, not to hurt yourself. And you're right. It just did not make any sense in the world. Great match. But
yeah, allegedly, but I mean, nobody else is really, nobody's talking about anything else besides.
That's another thing why I don't like about it. It took away everything else, I think. It didn't take all of it, not all of it, but it took away a lot from the rest of the match. I don't know. I mean, people aren't talking about the spot where Sting went through the glass. Did you even know Sting went through playing glass in that match?
Yeah. Wow. Is that true?
Yeah, he did.
Now that's something that should have been the news of the week. Oh, well.
So, there you go.
Now, I don't know how much we're doing with kayfabe news, but The Rock and Roman, who has been really, really overshadowed by The Rock in this program. Probably, I would say, even more so than Seth Rollins has been at this point. It's like The Rock the man is too charismatic. You really want to limit his interactions with wrestlers to maybe one, so that not everybody's getting buried. But but he's just burying everybody, and everybody loves him, and the stuff he's saying is hilarious. He is releasing 12-minute long one-take shoots on Twitter, and then, with the cowboy hat on, and I love that he's calling Pharaoh shithead. Like, that's so funny. It's really, and I don't think I've been a fan of The Rock's. I mean, like, I don't know. I mean, I haven't been a fan of The Rock probably since Hollywood Rock. And now I'm just way, way back on board with everything this guy's putting out.
Yeah, me too, man. Me too. Everything that's coming out of his mouth is fucking gold. I mean, why are people are getting upset because Roman called Seth a crossdresser?
Yeah, I saw that.
But I mean, like, that's Roman's best line. That's the best thing Roman Reigns has said in a decade. As you mentioned, probably in a decade. Yeah. Wow. Roman Reigns, The Rock is just coming out and he's just destroying everybody. He's showing everyone why he's on a different plane of existence than anybody else.
Yeah.
And you're right. Seth Rollins and Roman Reigns, the two backbone pieces of the WWE for the last decade, have been swept aside and are afterthoughts right now. Roman Reigns, the longest reigning champion since Hulk Hogan in the 80s, is being an afterthought right now, right? Everybody wants to see Cody and The Rock. And
yeah, it's amazing. A year ago, everybody wanted to see Rock and Roman, and now yeah, I mean, it's like old times again, where everybody was just kind of over Roman stuff, and I think that when you put, I mean, I hate to say it, but I think when you put Roman in the ring with any sort of real naturally over talent, his weak spots show. He just doesn't have the same sort of confidence that The Rock has, or John Cena, or even Cody Rhodes, really. So yeah, it's not a great thing for him, but it's great for The Rock, and it's great for Cody, I suppose, at the end of the day. Yeah, I mean, I remember saying on this show that I thought that that Rock shtick was done. Like, he was little like stupid puns and like trying to get the stupid things over, and I just didn't see him being able to come back. And I mean, as per usual, I'm no prediction bish here, but I am shown wrong once again.
Speaking of which, you don't happen to have the TikTok that I made, do you? Handy?
No, so I don't. But in the meantime, I'll be able to bring it up. But did you know that? And this is news. Did you know that Brock Lesnar has been returned to the WWE website?
Fucking bullshit news. He was never off the fucking website.
Yes, he was. Yes,
no,
he was in the merch store. He was off the merch store, and it's back now. Don't you put your finger up to me.
No, my camera was
I know.
No, but his profile was never removed. It was always there.
Look, he's coming back. He's coming back this Monday, and he's going to be at Mania, and him and Gunther are going to have a great match. That's my prediction. That's my prediction, bitch. Bitch. Sorry. Pardon me.
Well, it's going to be another prediction of yours wrong. Sorry, my friend.
But my predictions are so good. My predictions, like, I mean, even as good as your little gauntlet match idea, which isn't really what happened. You thought a gauntlet match would happen at WrestleMania. It's going to happen beforehand. You thought the gauntlet match was going to be all of the former opponents of him, which it's not, is it?
It is all his former opponents, yes.
Okay, all right. My bad.
But obviously, I'm influencing somebody over in WWE. Somebody over there is watching the show. They saw my idea. So, oh shit, he predicted exactly what we were going to do, and they had to pivot and make a change and put the match on Raw instead.
Okay, here to really put into place where the rest of the card is going, and I'm super excited about that too. It maybe the Intercontinental match might be a ladder match, is what I'm
Ladder
hearing.
match. Yeah, me too.
Which would be great, and I think that Gunther's probably going to retain if it is a multi-man match.
You know what it should be, though? Honestly, okay, I'm all up for a ladder match. I'm going there. We're going to be there. Obviously, I want to see a ladder match, but I think that he should take all his prior opponents and everybody that right now who's wanting the challenge for him. Gunther should be in a gauntlet match, start number 1, and just go through everybody and just beat them all again and assert his dominance.
A few moments later.
Yeah, that's cool. I will say that didn't watch the Elimination Chamber. I have to mention that you made that you made that TikTok going into business for yourself, and par for the course for our audience at home. Bish can't let a moment go by without putting his name all over it, taking credit for it all, and here we are again. Yes, Aaron, congratulations. Look, I'll get the people to applaud you.
Nice.
Well
little
done.
Barry Horowitz here. Little Barry Horowitz.
Good. So do you got any predictions for us this week?
No? What's going on? Do we have anything coming up? I didn't even research any upcoming shows, to tell you the truth.
No, I don't know.
No? Okay.
Yeah. I don't know. Okay, with that being said, we go where? We go into...
We are rolling into the Chronicles. WrestleMania 11.
For this week's, anytime you see some show idea where it's like a really bad show, chances are this was my choosing. And for my money, I think WrestleMania 11 is perhaps the worst WrestleMania of all time. A lot of people say 9. A lot of people will say, what else will they say? 2, maybe. I don't. 2 was bad, but they were just getting going. I think 9 is underrated, but 11 is bad. 11 is bad. Aaron, what say you?
11 is universally regarded as the worst WrestleMania of all time, as you said. It's also...
Is it Universal? It's Universal? I thought I was doing my little hot take. I thought 9 or 2 was. Okay. 11
Nope,
is.
Universal. Universal 11 is the worst. It's also called the show that saved the WWF as well.
The show that saved?
Yes.
Oh, interesting.
2 different takes on this one. So we're going to dissect this, and we're going to let the audience decide. What do you think? Is it as bad as we remember? Or is it pretty good and did it save the WWF? Let's find out.
All right, so this is all happening at a time when it's 1995. I think this may have been our first WrestleMania as buddies.
As friends, yes, it actually was. We were in grade 6 at the time.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And so a lot of nostalgia here. It holds, I mean, I don't think anybody can think any higher of this show than me. But it's still not good. Even
this was our very first gamble. We gambled. Our first bet was WrestleMania 11. I bet Shawn will win. You bet Diesel will win. I can't remember what was the stakes though, but I do remember we had a bet on the line for this.
There you go. So started off strong prediction by me. Because I was like, well, they're not playing in the main event. Obviously, the Fed is throwing a lot of firepower behind the Diesel project right now. It's not Shawn's time, maybe in a year from now. That was my reasoning behind it. What was your reasoning behind thinking Shawn was going to win?
He won the Rumble.
Yeah, see,
At the
at
time,
that age,
everybody
you're
who won
just
the
not
Rumble would win the
analytical
title.
enough. And that was the year that he was number one in, too, right?
Yeah, exactly. You would think that it was his time, but it was not, as we'll see later on. But yeah, this match here, we have Lex Luger and we have the British Bulldog going against Jacob and Eli Blue. Bulldog and Luger have never tagged, not once, up until this point. This match was literally thrown together and announced on the weekend show before this, the WrestleMania report with Todd Pettengill. Just, oh, by the way, here you go. There's this match happening.
Really? I didn't
Yeah.
remember that. I love this team. Team makes total sense to me. Their gear is awesome. They're both respective country boys, both muscle men. Yeah, I love this team. How about you?
I mean, it's probably the best thing for Luger at the time because he was floundering. He wasn't going anywhere after that failed main event run. Bulldog, he really didn't have a whole lot going on either. So yeah, the tag team made sense, and yeah, I thought they were good. I mean, they complemented each other well. They could hide their weaknesses. You know, it was good. Dutch Mantel, the manager of the Blues, he was on his podcast and he said that Lex Luger caused a whole lot of trouble before this match. Though it was like an 8-minute match, and Luger didn't want to do anything. He didn't want to do this, didn't want to do that, and I don't know. He was being a really big pain in the ass. That's the main takeaway from this match.
I think
Dutch.
that Luger was right. The Blues Brothers, or whatever they were called, have no shelf life. And this is the British Bulldog, and this is Lex Luger, who, me going back at this time, Luger was top boy. Davey Boy Smith was top guy. British Bulldog was always huge. So, yeah, I mean, they should have smashed them. They should have pinned them, and they should have gone on to be tag team champions.
The boys at the OSW review are here just talking about how it should have been probably Kama and Tatanka instead of the Blue Brothers because the Blues were just getting going and they were squashed right away. And then, as you said, their shelf life was done. But yeah. Yeah,
that would have been good because that is the last thing that that Luger was involved in was the sold out Tatanka thing. That would have made sense.
Yep.
And then they called them the Allied Powers, and then they kind of ruined both of their theme music by putting it together. Luger had awesome theme music, and British Bulldogs was very British, and you put them together, and I didn't think it really meshed. Kind of ruined Luger.
I wasn't really a big fan of Luger's music, honestly. I thought it kind of ruined Bulldog's music more than anything. I thought it elevated Luger's music and devalued Bulldog's, but...
Okay, why don't you tell the folks who your favorite all-time band is?
My favorite all-time band?
Yeah.
Well, I have a couple. Metallica.
No, it's Aerosmith.
It's not Aerosmith. Give it up.
It is.
It's
it
not
is.
Aerosmith. Listen, I have some Aerosmith stories.
Remember. Why are you trying to disavow who you are?
Listen, I like Aerosmith. Don't be wrong, but they're not my favorite. U2 and Metallica are my two bucket list items. I'm seeing Metallica this summer. I'll see U2 next year.
All right, fair enough. Now we go on to one of my. I don't know what to think about this. I mean, at the time, obviously, I thought my boy was going to be winning back his title.
Yeah, we have Scott Hall, Razor Ramon versus Jeff Jarrett here. I love this version of Jeff Jarrett. Jarrett won the Intercontinental Championship from Ramon at the Royal Rumble with help from the Roadie. And here we have, he said, a rematch, Jeff Jarrett versus Scott Hall, Razor Ramon for the Intercontinental Championship. Roadie's in Jeff's side. The 1, 2, 3 kid is in Scott Hall's side. You would think, yeah, honestly, all roads lead to a Razor Ramon victory, but as we are about to see, it is not.
Not meant to be, and he lost the title. Look at him there.
He looks good too.
Good. He lost the title at the Royal Rumble. He would have won or kept his title by a count out. Then, you know, his one weakness, much like Miro's neck, is intelligence. That was always Razor Ramon's shortcoming. So for whatever reason, he decided he wanted to. Oh man, that's dark. He decided he wanted to go back in, give him another chance. His leg fell out from under his leg, and he was pinned. Then we go into this. Now, I was watching something, I believe, about Jeff Jarrett recently, his background, getting it may have been OSW as well. Shout out OSW, about how he ended up in the WWF in the first place. And maybe, I don't know if it was, but I mean, we've talked about this too. Jeff Jarrett could never pick a side, and he switched over probably the most to anybody, whether it was Memphis to WWF. He left there a couple of times. WCW a bunch, and so he never really got his feet planted, but he was a really good heel.
The reason why he got a start in the WWF the first time around is because his dad, Jerry Jarrett, was about to take over booking responsibilities for Vince McMahon in 1992 with the steroid scandal. By 1994, it was finally over, and as a reward for Jerry being such a good, helpful hand to Vince through the whole thing, they brought in Jeff.
Yeah, and he was a babyface in Memphis, and then they brought him in to be a heel, and Jeff Jarrett has been a heel, like, naturally. He should never have been a babyface ever again, just a natural heel. And did you know that when they were doing the With My Baby Tonight stuff, him and Jesse James left the WWF before the reveal that Jesse James was the singer. Jeff Jarrett didn't want that to happen because he didn't want people to think that he was a fraud when it came to singing that song.
I had no idea they did that. No.
So he left. They both left because they thought that they had more gas being a tag team than against each other. And then Jesse James went back on his own, and then it was revealed that he was the singer. And they kind of did that reveal without ever really mentioning Jeff Jarrett much. They did it as little as possible. And then Jeff ended up coming back anyways shortly thereafter. But it's just another one of those things. It's just kind of like a bad business decision. I paused the thing here because I wanted to show the 1-2-3 kid in his
prime.
Yeah.
God, Rhodey looks like Drover there, doesn't he, our buddy?
Yeah, it's hilarious. Yeah, a lot of Jesse James influence on Lee Drover. So there we go, and then the Royal Rumble, the Razor's Edge about to go. Razor's just fighting off everybody.
I saw a reverse Razor's Edge the other day. Dalton Castle did one on John Morrison on the ROH show. Literally a reverse Razor's Edge, dumped him right on his head. Fucked up. I don't know. Yeah. Go watch it. It's fucked.
Okay. And I got to say, not a great match for either of these guys.
No, not at all. No, yeah. This is definitely subpar. I think their Rumble match was way better than this one, honestly. It's just...
One of the guys, though, that even from the beginning, Scott Hall wasn't jobbing to just anybody. And Jeff Jarrett, never in the clique, but
Jarrett was respected by the clique, though.
He was,
Sean, Razor, everybody respected him.
I don't know if anybody else lost to him besides Razor and the Kid. Like, I know Sean and him had a ladder match. Sean won. I don't know if he ever lost to Jeff Jarrett. I don't know if Scott or if Kevin Nash did. Diesel.
Scott Hall had a ladder match with Jeff Jarrett as well on some house shows.
Oh yeah,
and on Raw, I believe.
He won. That's how he got his third title, I think.
There you go. Look at that.
Man. So he leaves. Yeah. He retains. Blah blah blah. And Jeff is still wrestling to this day. I remember this distinctly. Man, I remember this. The Sid going through the pyro to attack. I think I got taken out on a gurney too in this. Just craziness. Wow.
Why are they showing Sid and Razor here? I wonder.
This happened, I think, the next night.
Next night on Raw. Okay. Very good.
And then, babyface.
Jesus, don't tear your quad. Fuck.
Yeah.
Crazy. And that starts the Diesel Sid feud. Gotcha. Okay. Makes sense.
Yeah. So this would go on for quite some time.
Did you know that, just an odd fact, sorry to cut in here, but odd fact of WrestleMania 11, did you know that they only had 3 WrestleMania ring skirts because the production truck forgot to pack the 4th skirt? So if you see on the hard cam side, it's the old blue WWF skirt, and then the rest of them are the WrestleMania ones.
Wow, no, I didn't know that.
Mm-hmm.
That's weird because they're in Hartford, which is right by Connecticut, which is where you would think everything is stored there.
Yeah, you would think so, right?
Okay, so we got some Sid stuff.
Yeah, they really like to sit on the
11.
OSW. This is the first fan access, like the first fan fair thing they had going on. Yeah,
and here we go with King Kong Bundy versus The Undertaker. I guess this is still the ongoing feud between Ted DiBiase and Undertaker since The Undertaker returned.
Yes, Taker and IRS would feud at the Rumble. Taker was taking on everybody in the corporation. Rumble is him and IRS. Do believe Kama stole the urn and melted it down to chains at some point. I don't know if this is before or after that, but yeah, Bundy and Taker would face off in WrestleMania, and this would not even be Taker's worst WrestleMania match, believe it or not.
No, I'm not surprised. I wouldn't even put it in the bottom three, really. And maybe even more. I think bottom three, Gonzalez.
Yep.
Is probably the worst. Then we got the Mark Henry match. That wasn't very good, was it?
Mark Henry WrestleMania 22 was okay, but it wasn't great. Yeah, no, and he had Superfly Jimmy Snuka at WrestleMania 7.
That was a bad one.
I mean, it's just not great. I mean, his match with Sid at WrestleMania 13 was not good at all either.
No. And then who was it that was it Prince Albert? Who was it at 19 in the handicap
match? My God, yes, right. Prince Albert and the Big Show versus Taker. Yeah. Supposed to be versus Taker and Nathan Jones, but ended up being, as you said, 2-on-1. Taker's had some bad WrestleMania matches, man. Yeah. Fuck.
You better thank God for Shawn Michaels and Triple H, because otherwise, I mean, wouldn't. He had some other good ones like that, but the classics all happened towards the end.
The boys here on the review, they're talking about the same thing we're talking about right now, and how bad Taker's matches are. They're showing the Big Boss Man one here from
that was an awful 15. One. Oh yeah, and here's 19.
Yeah, just not good, man. Not good. Yeah.
And so who do they say? They think this is his worst one?
No, they're saying the same thing we're saying, that this was not his worst match. It's just he's had a lot of bad ones, yeah.
Nice.
This is not by any stretch of the imagination a good match, but
got to say that hoodie is quite handsome there, Aaron.
Oh, thank you. It's really comfortable. Can't we get you one?
What does it say on the back there?
It has our website.
BWFpodcast.com? Oh.
BWFWrestlingPodcast.com.
You're just going off on a shoot all over the place now. We got a new website. I had no idea.
This is actually a mistake. Our website was originally BWF Podcast. I was doing this at 1:00 in the morning. I may not have been thinking straight. I don't know. I put in BWFWrestlingPodcast.com at the website. So I had to go buy the domain. So even if you do go to BWFWrestlingPodcast.com or BWFPodcast.com, you're both going to end up at the same great, wonderful place.
Beautiful stuff. And it is a very handsome hoodie. I don't like this era of The Undertaker overall. I don't like Purple Undertaker. I don't like Undertaker with this Phantom of the Opera mask. But very weak versions of The Undertaker. But the worst is Undertaker that is so connected to the urn is like, I don't know. I don't know how this man managed to make this stuff work. What was he doing with Vince to keep his career going? Because, yeah, because I don't know. I mean, how is it that works? How is it that works? So, anyways, and it gets melted down, and then they bring it back together again, and whatever. It's so bad. Anyways, to the surprise of nobody, Undertaker wins at Mania 11. making him, do you know off the top of your head what number win that is? Off the top of your head. 4-0, is it?
I think so. If I'm right. Let's
Yeah,
see. 7, 8, 9, and 11. Yeah, 4-0.
Wow.
Because he wasn't at WrestleMania 10.
That's right. Because he had gone to heaven at the Royal Rumble.
He ascended somewhere.
Okay, now we are seeing that's Mondo McMichael, who is, as of this recording, going through some very tough health stuff. But Mondo, who came in with Deborah McMichael as well, right? He's responsible for Deborah getting in there. Instant charisma, I believe, and maybe I learned this from this OSW thing, that WWF tried to sign him either in the lead up to this or afterwards. Saw the natural charisma of Steve McMichaels, but he elected to go to WCW,
where he would become a member of the Four Horsemen.
Yes, not the worst. Now you want to talk bottom 3 horsemen of all time? I don't think Mondo is down there, but he's close. He's not one of the tops.
I mean, I love me Dean Malenko. I really do, but Dean Malenko is probably one of the worst members of the Horsemen. Just don't think he fit the mold that well. Lex Luger, I cannot say enough bad things about Lex Luger on this podcast.
No,
Lex Luger, he's like probably my most detested wrestler of all time, Luger. So he's a bad one for me too.
So you don't think that Luger should be? Do you think he should be in the Hall of Fame?
No.
Wow, that is a hot take. He's not able to walk comfortably or at all. Don't care.
I mean, don't do steroids. I don't know.
Okay, fair enough.
Scott Hall told Lex Luger a long time ago. This is the true story. Scott Hall told Lex Luger a long time ago, do not make your gimmick about your body, because once your body goes, you're done.
Wow,
that's what happened to Luger.
Smart guy.
Yeah.
We're seeing here Bob Backlund, who, I mean, what is going on? This is another example of Bret Hart is connected to Bob Backlund for this long time, long enough that he has a WrestleMania match with him. The program goes on forever. Bret Hart settled with that shit. He settled with the Patriot. He settled with Jerry Lawler. What the hell?
Why? Yeah, why do that to Bret Hart? Why do that to the greatest of all time? It makes no sense. But
and this Bret
Hart, Bret Hart actually calls this his worst match ever, his worst pay-per-view match of all time. Yeah,
his 2 matches with Bob Backlund go on forever. They go on forever. That chicken wing at Survivor Series goes on for ages. It's amazing.
It's a half-hour match. They go for probably 20 minutes in this here. So they're literally going for 45 minutes to an hour between 2 matches, and there's not one pinfall.
Yeah. Oh, wow. In the I Quit match, you mean?
Yeah, there's no in either one match. In either match, there's no pinfalls because they're both. It's a throw in the towel match, submission, and an I Quit match. No pinfalls. It's just 2 old men going back and forth trading fucking brutal submission holds that don't look like they do anything.
No, and I mean, for as great as Bret is, he couldn't do anything with Backlund, who had a pretty good gimmick going at times here too. But
I love this gimmick. I love Backlund's crazy man gimmick. I thought it was fantastic.
Yeah, just weird booking. And at a time when the WWF is in '95, they're doing their worst business ever. But it's not due to lack of talent by any stretch. They're just not utilizing them well. Now, I guess we aren't really going into that. I thought we were going into the Backlund match now, but it looks like we are going into the tag team title match, I suppose. Smoking Guns against Owen Hart and a mystery partner. Now, remember, we had our guesses. I don't remember who we thought it was, but can you remember who you thought the mystery partner was going to be?
At the time? Oh.
Yeah.
I mean...
Jim Neidhart, maybe?
The real life rumor was that Jim Neidhart was actually going to be his partner. So maybe I guess we probably would have thought the same thing because it just makes sense. But they did not go with Jim. They decided to go with Yokozuna. Actually, before we even get to Yokozuna, there's another person being considered as Owen's partner as well. So much so that they brought him in to do house show dark matches, and he's being managed by Ted DiBiase. None other than Chris Benoit was being considered to be Owen Hart's partner for this.
Wow, yeah, that would not.
No, at the time he was in ECW. He was doing he had a thing going with Dean Malenko, I believe. But yeah, he was brought in, and he was this close, man, this close. But they decided to go with Yoko to give Owen some star power, to give Yoko something to do, and just to make them a legitimate tag team right off the hop.
Yeah, I mean, just nonsense, really. Don't know why. I mean, the Hart brothers being saddled with this, with their individually bad feuds. I remember thinking that the Yoko thing, I think I had heard that he had come out and thought that maybe he would have lost a whole lot of weight because he'd been gone for so long, but it turns out he was bigger than ever, 600 or something, they said.
Yeah.
But yeah, so obviously he couldn't work, couldn't do much. Not that he could even when he was smaller. So, I mean, Owen is just doing a whole lot of heavy lifting.
He is, but I actually kind of like the tag team. I thought it made sense in a way. I thought they complemented each other well. They both hated. Yes, exactly. They had both had backstory. They both had history against Brett. They came together through the hatred of Brett, and they became tag team champions. I mean, it's great. They had a great run. They had some really good matches against Smoking Guns. But this would also lead into Owen's tag team with the British Bulldog, which was awesome. I loved the Bulldog and Owen, Clarence Mason, Jim Cornette, all that good stuff. We'll get to that someday.
Fair enough. So you would take this over the Allied Powers being tag team champions?
Yes, 100%. Fuck. God.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Because Owen is sort of taking both belts. It's all him. He did it all.
It's his first championship. Look how happy he is.
Wow.
Yeah. It's good stuff. This is one of the highlights of WrestleMania 11, in my opinion, is the Owen Hart tag team victory. Look at Yoko. Yeah. Showing some emotion. It's good stuff. I like it.
Fair enough. Yeah. I mean, looking back at it, it is right now probably one of the more charismatic, exciting matches that has happened. Certainly at this point, there hasn't been a better match.
Nope. There hasn't. Yeah, they're just going through some of the stuff that would happen later on after they win the tag belts. But yeah, next on the list, what do we have here? What's going on?
They're doing the fan access stuff.
Oh, the fan access stuff again. Okay. Yeah. Who knew how much that would grow, huh? The fan access.
Yes. Took them a while. I mean, it took them whoever a while to get onto the idea of how much money can be made just milking the fans. You can just, it's not just the merch. It's not just the ticket. Like, you can milk them with meet and greets and, everything.
Step into the elimination chamber. That's what I got to do back when I went to fan access. I actually got to go into the elimination chamber and get my picture taken with Dolph Ziggler and Zack Ryder.
Nice. Yes.
Yeah.
Two people synonymous with it. Is there a fan access now? Like, is there anything
there
like
is,
that?
Yeah. There is, yeah.
We're not
it's
going
called
to
The World, I think it is. No, we're not good. Not bullshit. No.
What?
Nah, not going to that bullshit. We could go on Monday if you wanted to, but we just don't have the time, honestly. We are booked solid.
Love it. Now, we could have been close. Well, we were close. It was up to us whether or not we wanted to have this gentleman here to be a guest. And I was not really aware of what's going on until you came to me and asked me if I wanted to be the one to tell Mr. Mr. Adam Bomb that he was not going to be taken up on his deal. Aaron, tell the folks at home, Adam Bomb, what's he like?
Adam Bomb, my very first wrestling event ever as a kid, I got to see Adam Bomb wrestle Bret Hart in 1993, which is really cool. Great memory, great experience. I reached out to him and asked if he would like to join us as a guest at WrestleCon, and Mr. Adam Bomb requested business class airfare along with a fee and some other non-negotiables. So, yeah.
Well, I
No,
mean,
thank you.
now, I mean, in all fairness, a lot of these guys, that's what they start off with. But they'll come down, especially with us, because we're not charging or taking any of the cut from any of these people. I mean, we're fans that bought a vendor table, pretty much. We just want these guys to hang out with us. So it's probably unheard of. I mean, like Sting, you say Sting and whatever, like his stuff is like 100 plus. I mean, Sting is definitely getting the lion's share of that, but whoever is presenting him is putting him up, giving him a hotel room, giving him an appearance fee, but they're also taking a cut.
That's right. And if anything, I think we can just take all this as learning experience, and maybe we can do something like that similar next year where we can maybe do a fee with some guests. But
maybe
I don't even but I mean, it's just for us, right? This is for us as a fan experience. I don't want to charge people. I just want to have fun and just have memories I'm going to bring with me for the rest of my life,
We were going to do this anyways, and I like the idea of us, because I mean, because of this, we get to have a Ken Patera, a Bulldog number 1. Is it or 2? 1? Yeah. And the likes of Andrew Anderson. And
we have a viral sensation. Shane Mercer joining us on Sunday.
Oh, right.
That's huge.
Yeah.
This guy's got millions of views every week. I mean, shit.
Yeah.
That's
cool. And and let these guys. I mean, I don't want to really get involved in the business of this, anyways, because it seems like most of the people are shysters, anyways.
Oh my god. If it's one thing I've learned, man, through this experience, is dealing with wrestlers is no picnic. And as I said over Chelsea at High Spots, I do not envy your job one bit, and I appreciate everything that she does, because I can't even fathom what she has to go through dealing with hundreds of wrestlers and their go-betweens. And
nobody knows anything, and nobody knows technology, and nobody knows if they're booking stuff correctly, and everybody's lying to each other, and it's all shit. So I think it's certainly for this year. It was a smart idea to just, if we're not dealing with their money, then they don't have to rip us off, and we don't have to feel bad about it. Just your thing.
Exactly. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. So speaking, I have no transition. Now we're into the Bret Hart, Mr. Bob Backlund match. Bob Backlund, in theory, we could probably get Bob Backlund out sometime next year. Next year I want Tony Atlas. Next year I want Honky Tonk. Next year I want Dr. D, Dave Schultz. Those are 3 of my tops right there. Marty Jannetty would be another one too.
Absolutely. Why are they showing Tully Blanchard and Magnum TA in? I
don't know.
What is?
Oh, it's an I Quit match. I think they're talking about how.
They're talking about I Quit matches.
Because nobody ever, it's never clean, right? The only time, and Brian Pillman did one with friend of the show, Kevin Sullivan, when they, broke kayfabe. He shot and called Kevin Bookerman and said I quit without being in any kind of distress. But for the most part, you never really hear anybody actually say it, which also happens in this match after. Mm-hmm. I mean, it's forever. This match goes on forever, and then all Backlund does is,
Yeah, we have Roddy Piper literally shoving the microphone in Backlund's face. And it's just like, it wasn't Roddy saying, like, what are you doing? I go, are you giving?
What do you say?
What do you say? What do you say? Yeah, like, what do you say? And Backlund's like, I guess that means he gives up. So yeah, this match is not great. This literally just rest holds the whole time. They're not doing anything. Piper's being an idiot is just, not good.
Yeah. Unfortunate. And, definitely, I would agree with the Hitman. Definitely one of Bret's, probably Bret's worst WrestleMania match. Maybe him versus Vince is also supposed to be really bad, too.
Ironically, this is Bret Hart's highest WrestleMania payday.
Mania 11.
Even more than 12. Yeah.
Wow. Yeah.
Because WrestleMania 12 is the lowest buy rated WrestleMania of all time. By the way, it's WrestleMania 11. The bottom three are WrestleMania 11, WrestleMania 31, and WrestleMania 12.
31.
Yeah. I was shocked, but I guess Roman Reigns doesn't draw. Shocking.
No, and the build up to that match is infamously bad.
Infamously bad, yeah.
So here we go. We got him. The guy with the most energy in the match is Roddy Piper, and he is going into business for himself, which is the phrase of the day here on the show. And it's not good because he is shoving the mic in
over and over again. Look at this.
They're trying to breathe.
Yeah, it's not good. He just does it over and over again. Piper clearly had an 8-ball of Coke before coming into this match. I mean, he's just like hopping all over the place, like going into business for himself. And this match, it's not good. And he takes away from whatever they did have. Look at this. He's asking Bret Hart if he gives up and he's the one applying the hold.
Yeah.
Like, what the fuck? I love Piper. Don't get me wrong. I should have Roddy Piper on my wall right here with me because I love Piper, but this is got to be his worst performance in the WWF ring. Has to be.
Yeah. I mean, he's just having a laugh.
They can't even execute the move. They're halfway, doing a move, and he's got the microphone in their face. Like, Jesus Christ.
And then the payoff, obviously, is him not saying, I quit at all. Let's see. See if I can get the payoff of this match.
Did he say it?
Awful. He didn't even say any words. He was just screaming. Do you know what his payday was for this specifically?
Specifically, no, I don't.
I can't believe they got paid more for this than he did for his Austin match. It's crazy.
Yeah.
And then from there, we go into what do we got coming up next? We got the world title match, which is never good. Is this the first time in WrestleMania history where the championship match is not the main event of the show?
No, it's not. Can you name which Mania?
What? Sorry?
WrestleMania 8. WrestleMania 8.
Yeah. Oh, right. Yeah. Hogan and Sid.
Yeah. Hogan, Sid, Macho Fair. Yeah. But, as we mentioned earlier, Shawn Michaels would go on to win the Royal Rumble earlier in 1995. He would go in number 1, last all the way number 30. He would win the Entourage services of one Pamela Anderson. Doing so, we had the press conference and the build-up going into it. WWF were desperate for celebrities in this WrestleMania. Business was really, really bad, and they couldn't really afford anybody. So they were getting like Jonathan Taylor Thomas. They were getting that guy from Law and Order, Nick Tutorial, I think his name was. They had Salt and Pepper there, which is all right, I guess. But
look at how Vince is looking up at Shawn here. That is admiration.
Vince, he's like, my butt plug's gonna feel good later.
Oh my God, Aaron!
Definitely have.
You're supposed to be the reasonable one of this show.
I'm supposed to be. Sorry.
Oh my God!
It's definitely lost in McMahon's eyes there.
Yes, there is lust in that man's eyes for sure. Oh
God. But yeah, as we'll see.
Half the time, I like Vince with the turtleneck, but it looks like he's just lost in Shawn's eyes a lot.
The build up to WrestleMania, or when we get up to WrestleMania, we realize that Shawn's actually been quite the asshole to Pamela Anderson, and Pamela decides that she doesn't want to go with him, or that's Jenny McCarthy there, right? Yeah. So Jenny McCarthy and Pamela switched. And Pamela comes out with Diesel.
Now, and I'm pretty sure, again, I heard this from the OSW thing, but Pam Anderson at 95 was an actual big deal.
She was.
And they got her because much like just the way, like, I mean, wrestling just kind of snags certain people. And so Pam Anderson's father is a huge wrestling fan. She was essentially doing this to impress her dad, more or less. People said behind the scenes that she was polite, but not really focused. I think she was doing stuff with, I think Tommy Lee may have been in the picture at some point throughout this, so she really didn't become close with anybody there. Not that there were many people for her to get close with. There wasn't much of a women's division or women's presence on wrestling WWF at this time. Nevertheless, good show. Jenny McCarthy's hot too. I remember I was more of a Jenny McCarthy fan actually back then.
Were you? I was a Pam fan.
Yeah. You like Aerosmith, you like Pam Anderson. You know?
Aerosmith is good. Like, let's be real, all right? They are good. They're not the best, but they are really fucking good. Maybe back in the day they were my favorite when I was a kid. Maybe. It's possible.
Anyways. So, but the whole thing with Jenny McCarthy and Pam Anderson being involved in the match didn't really do a whole lot to do much for Sean or for Diesel. No,
they were just there for eye candy. That's it. No other reason. But we do see Sean bump like a fish out of water in this match, though. He goes all out.
Yeah. How is the match? Where do you put it?
It's not bad. We see Sean actually this is legit. He gets mad at the reporters here. The reporters are too close.
The ring.
They were telling him, stay away from the ring. Don't get too close. They didn't listen. Sean ran into him, and Sean legit dragged that guy right out like a piece of garbage. The match is decent. It's definitely better than, a lot of other WrestleMania main events we've gotten, like John Cena and The Miz, shit like that. Said Sean, he's a bumping machine here, man. He's going all out. He's trying his best to carry this match, but it's not a 5-star classic or anything.
No, one of Kevin Nash's best matches for sure, but not one of Sean's. There's of course, the finish comes with, is it a double? Sean oversells it. Maybe he did a Hogan. This is what the rumor is, that he purposely messed up the jackknife by Diesel. I don't think so, though, because it doesn't make anybody look good. It doesn't make Diesel look foolish.
Straight from Kevin Nash's mouth, Sean did that on purpose to make him look bad.
Wow.
Yeah, because Sean wanted to make Diesel look bad. They're best friends in real life. Okay, Kevin actually said that, hey, in real life, we are best friends, but business is business. And he went into business for himself. He did that on purpose to make me look bad so he can go to Vince in the front office later on and say, hey, Diesel's not that great. He can hurt people. Let me take his spot.
Wow.
Yeah.
And it didn't work.
It didn't work.
No. And now Sean has incorporated skinning the cat as well, thanks to his Royal Rumble win this past year.
Mm-hmm.
Which he would go on to do that for the rest of his career. Even when he came back, he would always be skinning that cat. Saw a clip today, famous moment from the 25th anniversary of WrestleMania, where he skins the cat into a tombstone with the Undertaker.
Right. Yeah.
Your fall as a result. Sean's unprofessionalism, if that's the case, and who are we to doubt Kevin Nash, but that's why they couldn't trust him in the main event of this, for sure. And how stupid is Vince? If you're looking at that, how is that Kevin Nash's fault at all? We'll see it here now.
And also, Vince wanted Diesel to kick out of the super kick as well. Nash didn't want to do it. Sean, so here we go. So Sean actually falls to his side and makes it look really bad on purpose. Instead of taking the bump flat on his back, he goes to his side and makes it look sloppy.
Yeah,
that's what Nash said.
Dangerous, too. So why didn't Kevin Nash... Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't know. Doesn't seem like it's worth it, especially after the match too. There's so many other ways that you could do it. It had I don't know, doesn't even look like it's a Kevin Nash fault. And Vince has been around these guys forever. He knows who's in charge of the power bomb. It's always the guy pushing off the legs, coming down flat back. It's always the guy that's taking the move. So if I know that, fucking Vince McMahon knows that.
Right, there you go. Exactly. So yeah, he fucked that up, and then said Vince, he wanted Diesel to kick the super kick. Diesel didn't want to do it. He thought it was a bad idea. Sean thought it was a bad idea, but Vince insisted, and as soon as Diesel kicked out, the crowd booed. I mean, the crowd was clearly in favor, or at least split 50-50 between Sean and Sid and Diesel. The crowd loved Sid. And the next night of Raw, when Sid turned on Sean, they were chanting for Sid. They were cheering for Sid. It wasn't until Diesel came out and made the save that people realized, oh shit, we got to be cheering for Sean now.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I heard that too. The kick out caused people to turn on him. I don't understand why the fans would turn on Diesel kicking out of the super kick. Is it because they thought that he was being booked too strong, or really
Roman Reigns kind of thing, just shoved down our throats too much, looked too strong. People wanted the underdog, Sean, to win.
So the next night, like you said, they would go on to break it up. Sid would get a monster run, which would not a year from then, but Sid would have a monster run nevertheless. And it's regardless of what happens, the main event is made up of Bam Bam Bigelow, who nobody has ever faulted Bam Bam for taking this match, because there's no way that Bam Bam Bigelow was ever going to be main eventing WrestleMania otherwise, against pro athlete Lawrence Taylor, LT.
Now,
I did not know who this guy was before.
Oh.
Did you?
Not at this point, because I wasn't a football fan at this point. My football fandom would come later, but at this point, I had no idea who Lawrence Taylor was. Of course, we all knew who Bam Bam was.
Yeah.
But yeah, no one can blame Bam Bam for taking the main event and the $250,000 he got paid to do the job.
Yeah.
$250,000, folks.
200?
200K? 250.
Yeah, I'd do that.
Yeah.
And he does a heck of a job, and it's not a bad build-up all the same.
It's a great build-up, honestly. Yeah. We start the build-up at the Royal Rumble. LT's in the crowd as a fan. Bam Bam was in a tag team match, and he lost. He went over to Lawrence Taylor, who was Beacon. Bam Bam shoved him, and we're off to the races. Match is challenged. We have a build-up to WrestleMania press conferences. We have all kinds of things leading up. The news media outlets are eating the shit up. I mean, it's getting all kinds of press. It's good. It's good publicity for WWF. Good build. In the match, as you said, it's probably one of the better celebrity matches that WWF has ever put off.
I mean, certainly for the time.
At the time, definitely at the time, the best one at the time. LT put on a hell of a match. It was a great. I wouldn't say it was a 5-star classic, but I mean, fuck, I'd give it 3.5, 4 stars, easy. Good match.
And like you said, I think, is Kevin Green a part of the posse that comes out with that? Because it's like wrestlers versus football guys. And while LT would never go on to wrestle another match, I don't think, again, two of the people in his group would, but for WCW.
Yeah, it's crazy how much talent actually came out of the football group. But yeah. Good stuff. Where do you place this main event in the matches in WrestleMania history? Top 15, bottom 15?
Good question. Right, and so we're at 40. So 20, let's change 40. It to top 20 or bottom 20.
Yeah,
I think it's bottom 20 off the top of my head. But I don't know. What would you say? What do you think, Aaron?
I think all the main events between 32 and 39 have been bullshit. I think a lot of anything between WrestleMania 27 to 29 is garbage.
Wow.
So I'm going to put this right in the middle, right in the middle of main events.
Then, okay, interesting. So you don't think that any of the main events from 31, 32?
Yeah, 32 on.
To last year have been bullshit.
Yeah.
And worse than this match.
Yes. A lot of them have been Roman Reigns and Brock Lesnar. A lot of them there's been Roman Reigns and Triple H. There's been
okay.
The ladies three-way. I mean, it's not been good. WrestleMania main events have not been good.
Yeah.
I got a solid point there. I think it's just not been good.
Yeah, it's arguable for sure. Yeah. You had the COVID era one was not good. And then they started splitting them up and I guess so. Cody and Roman last year? No?
That was all right, but I mean, it wasn't. Said again, it wasn't a 5-star classic or anything. It wasn't what you just would want from a WrestleMania main event. It wasn't. I don't know.
Well, what do we have to hope for this year then, Aaron?
I think with The Rock being involved, I think there's going to be a lot of storyline stuff. There's going to be a lot of swerves. I think it's going to be good. And I think this year, finally, Cody gets his win. It's going to be an actual WrestleMania moment that we can all enjoy together, and it's going to be good.
Right. And so what does Rock call people like you? Cody, what?
Cody crybabies, but I'm a Rock mark, baby. Come on.
But you want to see him finish the story.
I do want to see him finish the story. I do. I want to see it all.
You had the biggest main event. I mean, The Rock is talking to you directly. You had the biggest main event in the palm of your hands. You let it go because you wanted to see Cody finish his story.
It's so good.
But yeah, I mean, now that you sort of break it down like that, maybe it is in the top 20.
Yeah, maybe it's definitely in the middle there. Yeah, for sure.
Interesting stuff. Interesting thing. Because I always sort of say, I mean, the WrestleManias since WrestleMania 20, the main events have all been generally pretty good, I thought. But yeah, there's a lot of Cena matches there that you don't really want to put in. There's the hair versus hair match, right? The billionaires versus billionaires or whatever. That wasn't a good match. Was that the main event?
Main event was Cena and Michaels that year, which is good. That was a good match. Batista and Taker also had a really good match that WrestleMania as well.
Yeah. Not the main event, though.
No.
Okay, so Bam Bam does the job. Lawrence Taylor is exhausted, even for a couple of noobs and backyard wrestlers, basement wrestlers like ourselves. We know how much cardio goes into even the most sloppy of wrestling matches, and he is dying there.
He's toast, yeah. I remember how much gas we were sucking when we were doing our matches, man. It was not easy.
No.
No, not easy. And yeah, he literally had to be carried out by his entourage. He couldn't stand. They try to do like a post-match interview. He can barely even speak on the microphone. He's just toast. He's toast.
Yeah. Yeah, God love him. I mean, it just goes to show Bam Bam Bigelow had a bit of a talent. For sure. Yeah, look at him.
Look at him. This is shoot right here, folks. This is legit. Yeah. He can't move.
Wild.
Good to see.
So, yeah, all told, not a good WrestleMania. I mean,
not a good WrestleMania, but I don't think it's the worst.
So why did they say this was the one that saved them?
Honestly, I don't know. I have no idea. I think maybe they started to go into a different direction after this. They started stopping with the Mantar shit and the Man Mountain Rock shit and started going more towards realistic characters, I guess, if you want to call it that. I don't know. But I think it was at this time when a shift in the WWF was needed.
Well, I don't know who said that it saved them. Okay, it saved them because it was so bad that they realized, like Vince Russo came into the mix and stuff like that. Because even the year after this, you said was worse in terms of buy rates than this one.
It really was, yeah. Maybe, and I don't know. Yeah.
Well, yeah. But Mania 11, now we're talking about main events. This wouldn't be in the bottom 20 of main events. Is it in the bottom 20 of WrestleManias?
It's on the cusp. I think it's on the cusp. It's got to be, let's see, 1, 2, 1 and 2, 9 are really bad, and then you got to go off. Yeah, it's definitely in the bottom 20. It is in the bottom 20.
Yeah, because even the best match of the night, let's say it's either Shawn Michaels. Shawn Michaels and Diesel.
The tag match, the championship match, and the football match with Bam Bam. Those are only 3 matches in the card worth watching. Yeah. So bottom 10. I have to put it in bottom 10.
Yeah, honestly, that's awful. When Kevin Nash is in your top 3 Mania match, like that is not good.
Not good.
And Lawrence Taylor and Bam Bam Bigelow.
Yeah. Anybody I just said, it's not good.
It's not good. It's not good. Okay, well, there you go. I'm happy I picked that one. It was a nostalgia. 95 for sure. Salt and Pepper. Jonathan Taylor Thomas, as you said, with that haircut, there was nothing more indicative of 1995. If you're a young lad around Jonathan Taylor Thomas's age, that's the haircut you needed to have. Part it down the middle. Going like that. It's good stuff.
Good stuff. Absolutely. So, where should we go from here next week? Maybe we should do a poll. Fans, leave it in the comments. Yeah. What do you want to see next week? Which WrestleMania do you want to see next week? Do you want to see WrestleMania 5? Do you want to see WrestleMania 6, 7, 8, 15, 17? Doesn't matter. Whatever WrestleMania you want, make sure it's old school and make sure it's a good one, for fuck's sakes. Leave it in the comments and we'll go through it.
All right, Aaron. And so, good. We're leaving it into our nation's hands and promoting engagement. Before we go, do you want to talk a little bit more about 1995?
1995.
Yeah, that's 1995.
Yeah, it is 95. What's there really talk about?
What do you think was the biggest movie in 1995?
In 95? Biggest movie?
Yeah.
Did Toy Story come out then, or is that late? No, that was a great.
Yes, that's number 3.
That's number 3. Okay. Armageddon, was that out yet?
Armageddon? No, that's later.
No,
again, you go back to Aerosmith with "Don't Want to Miss a Thing."
7. No, that didn't come until later either.
It did. No. 7 came out. Not the number 1 movie that year was Batman Forever. Which
wow, okay.
Yeah, which I like that movie back at the time. I didn't realize it was garbage back then. But yeah, what do I know?
There you go.
And then obviously Home Improvement, number 1 show on television. What about biggest song of 1995? Any guesses?
Let me guess, something by Salt and Pepper.
No, close. I mean, I bet you probably have the Grammys or had the Grammys album of 1995.
Oh, I did. What If God Was One of Us? Joan Osborne. She was on there, I think. I think it's Joan Osborne anyway. Oh my God, yes. Shit. Seal. Kiss of a Rose.
Yes, huge. Yeah. Now, it's funny because Salt and Pepper was not in the top whatever, but TLC was with one.
I was going to say TLC. Fuck yeah. Okay, cool.
Now, but neither of them are the number 1 song of that year.
Okay, what's number 1 song?
The number 1 song of that year, as later to be parodied by Weird Al Yankovic.
Gangster's Paradise.
Gangster's Paradise, yes,
nice.
Sir. Many a Newfoundland's lads' first glimpse into the gangsta lifestyle, and homies praying at night on the street lights. There you go. So, blast from the past, 95. Yeah. A great year. My mental illnesses and my addiction issues had not even come nearly to a head then, but we were making a lot of good strides for a lot of damaging reasons that I've barely been able to uncover, even with all of the therapy that I've been doing since. Aaron, what say you?
I say this is an excellent time to sign up for Listen, in all serious nation, it's been a year for Mr. Conan over here since coming out of rehab, and I really do appreciate, and I love you so much, and I think you've done an excellent job, and I hope you keep up the good work, my friend.
Thank you, Aaron. Yes, thank you. Appreciate it. Oh. It takes a brave person to admit when they have faults, but it takes a true Renaissance man to fix his faults. And I have fixed all of my faults. And if you had said to me a year ago, I'm a hero, I would have said no. But now, I'm happy to say yes. I'm a hero. Thank you, Aaron. Love you too. We got Ken Patera coming on here. We're going to WrestleMania. It's great stuff.
I guess the only thing left to say here this week is BWF Nation. My goodness. Thank you so much for joining us. This has been a great episode. I love this episode, honestly. It's been great chat, great stories, great going over WrestleMania. Val Venus, by the way, you are still a piece of shit, buddy. And Nation, if you don't believe me, go to this guy's fucking webpage, Facebook webpage. It's horrible. You suck, Val Venus. But until next week, we do not watch the product, but we do know our shit. So until next week, take it easy. Cheers.